Welcome. My name is Penelope Chatterton. Welcome to Awaken the Dream. My friends, I have a good friend back this week. Her name is Carla Priest. This is her second show with me, and I'm very happy to have her back because we need to talk more about Rejoice Regardless. Welcome.
Thank you, Penelope.
I'm sorry we had to wait this long for the second show, but you're here and we're both here and we're both dressed in the right color and we're raring to go. And would you help my friends watching the program give a little synopsis of Rejoice Regardless before we go into a chapter? Give them a little overview if that's possible.
I will. It's part memoir, the book,
right?
And it's part about self-healing.
Yeah.
And it's about the 5 bodies and healing the 5 bodies.
Yeah.
My philosophy is that we have 5 bodies. We have a spiritual body, a mental body, an emotional body, an etheric or electromagnetic body, your personal space body.
Yeah.
And then we have a physical body as well.
Yeah.
And so we fall ill in the following fashion. The spiritual body, which is connected to source, connected to purpose, whatever, derails.
Oh, all right.
Falls off its track.
Forgets itself.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't remember why we're here and what our purpose is.
And who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And then the mental body follows, and the emotional body follows.
So the main switch.
Like dominoes.
Yeah, like I can see a switch of an electric board.
Like dominoes.
The biggie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the others sort of quietly go to sleep. Okay.
And the last time I was here, I was talking a little bit about how we heal the spiritual body. And I said we have 5 S's that cue us to how we heal the spiritual body. And one of them is spaciousness, silence, softness, slowness, and surrender.
Ah, I like the last one in particular.
I know. I know. We talked about it. Letting go.
Yeah.
Letting go.
Yeah.
Letting go. But what we were going to focus on today was one of the chapters, chapter number 6.
Yeah.
Was part of the healing the spiritual body, and it's called The One Who Is Not Busy, or Finding the One Who Is Not Busy.
Finding the One. Okay.
And I think it's appropriate to talk about it now because we just made all our New Year's resolutions and what have you.
Yes.
One of mine was to become unhooked, shall we say, from my smartphone. My smartphone. I stopped my smartphone, and I've had so much more spaciousness and silence and softness and slowness and surrender than I had dreamed of.
Yeah.
I just put it on hold and took it offline, and I just used one little email, really a very tiny little cell phone, for emergencies.
Gotcha.
That's it.
You're unplugging.
I am.
Yeah. Do your kids treat you like mine do, where with Facebook and everything else, Mom? And if I ever have a problem, you have to call them, and it's like you're really not interested, but you're trying to be polite. And it's like you're trying to keep up. There's a lot of things I frankly have short-circuited.
Yes, yes.
Busy.
Have you short-circuited Facebook?
No.
No, you haven't.
No, but I do the minimum.
I haven't either. Yes, yeah, exactly.
We see each other. Unless you don't see me, I see you.
And this is how you keep track of your children?
Yeah, they post things, and you have a good mama like you are. You got to stay on top of things. So the special pictures, or new babies, or whatever. All the dog stuff, of course, I'm madly in love with.
Yes.
Real men are kind of animals. I am hooked.
Oh, good. Oh, good. You like that.
I love that.
Well, I stay in touch with my daughter, who's pretty far away. She's in Vermont.
Okay.
And my son really doesn't get into it that much. He's running the homeless services for Boston. He's got a huge job.
Oh.
And of course, during winter, he's very, very busy.
Yeah.
And then my other daughter is very much on Facebook. So we get with her that way. So what this has allowed me to do.
Did you text?
I don't text. I don't text.
Had to ask.
Not anymore.
All right.
No, I used to.
But
I don't. Since I let that go.
Okay.
I'm holding on to it. I mean, by the way, I don't know how long this experiment's going to last.
You might end up framing it and hanging it up.
It might
put it under glass.
Or give it to one of my children who.
But I think it's kind of comical. It's a chapter in your life where it'd be kind of cute to have you put it under glass.
Yeah, well, that could be.
The new Carla.
Yeah. Well, kind of the new Carla is always unfolding, shall we say?
Yes, of course.
So when I turned 70, I just said, look, I'm not going to work as hard. I'm a recovering workaholic.
Yeah.
And the book came out in October, and now it's available throughout the Cape and will be available on Amazon very shortly.
Oh.
And I'm also a practicing meditator. I do Buddhist practice, but I also do meditation a lot.
Okay.
And getting rid of the cell phone just helped a lot.
Yeah. Now people can see where to order your book on your website, which is up. It's posted on the show.
It'll be.
If they don't go to Amazon, can they go to rejoiceregardless.com?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You can get it through Harvard.com
Okay.
offers it, and there's various bookstores on the Cape that are covering it. I had a number of book signings as well.
Yes.
It's my first book, and it's been exciting because I've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
I've been having a practice for many, many years as a healing coach.
Yes.
And I hadn't intended to write a book until about 7 years ago, and then I decided that it was time to put it into the book.
What I liked about Rejoice Regardless was the acceptance of whomever comes to you with whatever condition, you rejoice regardless.
Precisely.
And I think that's just a brilliant
And in our own
slogan.
lives. In our own lives.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do what we can.
And it's not being Pollyannish. It's not being Pollyannish, but it's not going to that place. I remember I took a walk yesterday and I saw a dear neighbor, and she said, "Isn't this a rotten life?" And I said, no, it's not a rotten life. It's the only life we have, and it's the only moment we have, and so why don't we embrace it? Embrace it by rejoicing.
If you have a choice,
regardless.
rejoice regardless
Yeah.
of the gray day or the cold or
exactly.
whatever. Yeah, I love the idea we have choices all the time, 24/7, and we are so creative. If we just remember, we can turn anything around.
Precisely. And the way I've turned things around is through this meditation practice. And I wanted to, if it's okay with you, just read a little bit of that chapter 6.
I would be delighted.
Because it's about my first retreat.
Okay.
My first meditation retreat.
Okay. Love to hear it.
And it was just so
life-changing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. No question about it. So I say the first 2-day meditation retreat I took required a work session in the middle of sitting and walking meditation. I was sent out to pick apples. The only apple tree stood a short walk from the zendo where the retreat was held. The apples were red and ripe. I do not know how they tasted. My job was simply to pick them for the retreat center's kitchen. In Zen practice, we are asked to take only what is offered, and my assignment was to pick the apples, not eat them. I was alone as I gathered the low-reaching fruit at first, and grateful that the task was finite. There was no need to do anything but fill 2 large wooden baskets slowly and steadily over a 1-hour period. It was such bliss to concentrate on 1 apple at a time, 1 task at a time. The sunshine was abundant, the apples luscious. I thought to myself, if only I could bring this mindfulness back home to my various chores and tasks. Possibly I could eliminate my list making in the morning and enjoy those chores. I rushed through to get to the next item on the list. The work session was fun. I felt rested and happy to see the 2 baskets filled to the brimming, bleated. I have never been so satisfied picking apples before. I had found the one who is not busy while being present to the process of picking apples.
Well, I like the fact that you were in a function.
Yes.
That to me is when spirit can work so beautifully.
A task.
Yeah, a task. I think that's kind of amazing. I could sit watch a symphony and be more plugged in than ever in public.
Yes.
And I find that kind of interesting because we do put on the hair, shirt, and sandals. We do our inner quiet opening the day. We set the scene, all of that. But I find it equally interesting to be anywhere and have that still operating, like automatically.
Yes.
It's a nice gift.
Whether you're spectating at the symphony or you're participating in
Now, if I were first
per se.
violinist, I don't know how much meditating I would be doing.
Precisely.
But,
Precisely.
but I like the fact that I can be anywhere and be grounded, centered,
And do you meditate when you set the stage, as you say?
Oh, in the morning. Oh, yes. We're all launchers of
wonderful
of our quiet, peaceful time.
Yes.
Waiting for the still, small voice to enter.
Right. Exactly.
And celebrating, just being grateful and excited.
And rejoicing, regardless.
To communicate
Yes.
and say thanks and
Yes.
what are we doing and what's up. And if you have concerns, you can throw them to Spirit. I always call it that. Throw it to Spirit and know that
Yes.
you don't sit there necessarily. It might not come right away. You just go off, and then out of nowhere, a newspaper will fall on the floor with a title that's the answer. Anything. I mean, it's humorous and cute and fun and
there
delightful.
are no coincidences.
No.
Yes.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Spirit works in many ways.
But if you can find that spaciousness and insist on that spaciousness.
Oh.
I mean, I used to teach nurses up in Boston many times. 250 in front of me or whatever. And I would talk about spaciousness, and I would ask them to take out a calendar, and I'd give them a month in the calendar, and I'd say, look, I want you to find free time, because they're all recovering workaholics anyway.
Yeah.
And I said, find free time. Don't get rid of your cell phone, but at least find free time 3 times during the month. And with a red pen, I want you to take it out. I gave them red pens, and I said, now, X off 3 hours. Imagine 3 hours.
I bet you.
3 times a month. Well, just 3 hours. That's 9 hours
Yeah.
in a given month. You ought to be able to do
What
that.
did you suggest they do with the hour?
Whatever
For them?
Whatever felt right to them.
Okay.
Taking a walk.
Just for them.
Having a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Taking a nap. Calling a friend.
Staying in your pajamas.
Precisely. Some kind of spaciousness.
Yeah.
And you know what they asked me?
What?
Carla, do I have to write it in red pen? Do you have an eraser on the pencil that I can use?
Oh, how cute.
Because they couldn't allow themselves that period of time to just be with themselves.
Yeah. There are programs for caregivers, for sure,
Precisely.
that need to find balance.
Yeah.
Because,
A lot of us are wounded healers,
oh,
myself included.
yeah. The shelf life of over-serving is limited.
Precisely.
When you're not serving any longer yourself or anyone else, and people can
don't you
pick up
think
on it.
that happens with women in particular? I mean, here we are. I mean, we're both getting into our 70s, aren't we?
Oh, we are.
Yes.
I'm ahead of you.
Yeah, well, but still, isn't it wonderful? I mean, I tell people, young people, my family, for example, my son is 45, and he's worried about turning 50, and I said, 50s are freedom. 50s are about freedom. 60s are stupendous. I have no idea what 70s are, but they're going to be sumptuous.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think the older we get, we short circuit experiences that are learning. And then we move on because we don't want, this is the beauty of wisdom. You don't want to repeat something because you're bored. We're so creative. Every square inch of us just wants to hunger for something new. So, you think of the chapters you've had in your life where you were hungry for what you were doing and it was perfect for then.
Perfect.
Then you move on to something else and that's perfect for that period. But it's so nice to recognize that there's just as much vitality, if not more, with the freedom that we can move on and learn something new or express something new, or our spiritual life is richer and it's simpler. And walking on water gets better.
You want to call it that?
I love that expression.
Let's
do that
writing
today.
this book was like walking on water. I mean, when I finally finished, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And now people say at book signings or whatever, when's your next one coming out? I say, wait a minute.
I was going to bring that up.
Did you read this book? This is about the one who is not busy.
Yeah, but you know what I thought of when you just said, you birthed all that it took to get this bad boy, as they say,
it took me 7
on the
years.
shelves.
Yes, absolutely.
So now it would be a piece of cake and the Spirit would let you know there was something new. I always tell my guests when they come on, call me if something is driving you nuts that you have to share, because you're just so excited.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
it.
People will do that.
yeah.
They say, okay, this is it. I've got something to tell you. So
I've got another idea.
What?
I mean, I do have something else. I'm married to a prince of a man. I mean, he's just the perfect person for me, and vice versa, I think. I know. And so I'd like to write about love in later life. Because I met him and married him at 42, and we've been together 28 years. And it's
Divine.
just been...
You think you got the kinks out first?
I did. I got the kinks out
Did
first.
he? I love the way you say I did.
Yes. yes, we both
Okay,
did. Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes, learning.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And you
With
know
the
what?
first partner.
What is it? Gil Braun's talked about marriage and holding your own and having your own life.
Yes.
Because if you do, you don't ask your partner to round you out, just support you.
Well, what does Braun say? But there'll be spaces in your togetherness.
Yeah.
And one is a cedar and one is another tree, and let the shadows not fall on each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Space. And
Yeah.
and if someone needs it, it's wonderful. It's fine. There's an understanding. Two whole people living together.
Well, I always tell our story, my story of my second marriage, and that I was engaged to somebody else at the time, and I met him, I saw him.
This is
and it
getting
was
juicy.
I know, it's very juicy. I tell people that they're worried about ever getting married, to find the right person again. I always tell, it's Valentine's Day, right? So we should talk about a love story.
Yeah.
So this other fellow and I were going to be married in 4 weeks, and everything was planned.
Oh, jeez.
Everything
Did you
was
break
planned.
his heart?
I'm afraid I did.
Oh, shame on you.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know. It's
dear.
like Downton Abbey, being left at the
Did you ever end up friends, or was that
somewhat? Yes, yes. He wished me well, and I wished him well. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when I met Bill, my husband, it was kismet. It really was kismet.
Yeah.
It was like, who are you, and where did you come from? And it felt as if we were growing each other for each other all those many years
course.
before.
Yeah.
And it does exist, and that kind of bonding and love does exist.
Yeah, our friends have to know life happens to us the way it is supposed to if we just surrender everything. I mean, folks who might want to brainstorm about finding a partner, if they have faith and know that the Almighty certainly can put it together, if He has the intention down from your heart, try to let it go and have faith that if it's meant to be, have faith. If it's meant to be, it will appear, and if it doesn't, it's because something else might dawn on you in your life. Surrender.
Yes.
So I'm happy for you.
Thank you, my dear.
That's
Thank
great.
you very much, Penny.
So, talk more about this chapter when someone's not busy. Or let me put it this way. In your book, what is the most important message you feel about rejoice regardless? I think I sort of said it and you nodded. Rejoice no matter what. Now you have folks that come to you, and I want our friends to know that if they need you, that they can come with terminal illness, they can come with a lot of wellness, they can come in any state, but they might have something gnawing at them or need support, and with your
the 5 bodies.
5 bodies.
Healing the 5 bodies.
Yeah.
Well, what I try to do is bring integrated medicine together. I mean, from alternative and complementary to obviously the allopathic. And that's what integrated medicine is, basically.
Yeah.
So when I fell ill because of allopathic medicine, Western medicine, because of a drug.
Yeah, it's a killer, isn't it?
You can be. It almost was. It's the first leading cause of death now, accidental death.
Wow.
With prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Anyway, I learned everything I could about alternative and complementary medicine, and then I put them together for people that come to me. For example, currently I'm not working with so many terminal, well, I say terminal, but cancer clients that have very poor prognosis. I'm not working with as much with them. Very often, though, given their prognosis, I mean, when you see a doctor, what do you get? You get a you get a diagnosis, you get a prescription, and then you get a prognosis, and sometimes the prognosis is not right. And if you believe the prognosis, I give you 2 to 3 months or something like that,
There's
then
a good point.
you are gone. You can be gone in that period of time. Now, I'm not saying that all doctors do it, but I'm saying that that is the model for allopathic medicine, basically. So what I try to do is introduce the possibilities with other people. But what I've asked the universe to do is send me some younger people who I can mentor in this whole how to put a practice together.
Well, that's a wonderful idea.
Because I have an RN, a master's doctor work, a nurse practitioner background. So I have all this alternative and complementary, and so I help to put it together. So the universe is cooperating. And they're sending me people that are young and who want to learn how to create this practice, this business model, so to speak.
And put a package together for an individual.
Exactly.
And be able to listen and hear and figure it out.
And for their own lives. I mean, for example, so many of them are wounded. Many of these practitioners that are working in the wounded healthcare delivery system, forgive me, but managed care sometimes is damaged care, are looking for a way to work with the knowledge they have. I mean, a lot of them are nurse practitioners or nurses, or sometimes even doctors for that matter, will come and try to figure out how to integrate all the other modalities that they have learned. So it's fun.
And in listening to a client or a patient, you could pick very much up on what the fear could be around which direction they might feel comfortable going in, where you might gently have to say, would you be interested in hearing about this approach or that approach, or putting customizing.
Exactly. And they always get some kind of physical care. So I combine the 5 bodies in my practice. They'll sit down with me and I'll learn about their spiritual body, I'll learn about their mental body, emotional body, etheric body, electromagnetic body, and then of course we get to the physical symptoms. But the physical symptoms arise when the other bodies have fallen apart.
I like you started out with the main switch was having a problem.
Exactly.
So your idea is to spin them right back to getting plugged in.
Try to, and spinning is a good word, although I would say spiraling.
Spiraling.
Spiraling upward.
Connecting.
Yes.
Feeling support within everywhere you go.
But I teach them how to meditate as well. I mean, there's a wonderful, I start my meditation this way. Do you have a second, or do we have a little time?
Oh yeah, we have 5 more minutes.
Oh, fabulous. Well, let me just say this. This is how I begin my meditation. Breathing in, I relax my body. Breathing out, I calm my mind. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. And this is a wonderful moment.
Moments are perfect.
Exactly.
And knowledge, we need that knowledge, because that can be a little far out for some people to say, what do you mean? Look, I've got this wrong, and this is falling apart. You're telling me things are perfect.
It's a rotten life, and blah, 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 blah.
But you know what? If it's the truth, some part of them will take it in, and if they're not ready now, they'll be ready eventually, but it won't be that they haven't heard it before.
And that's what you're doing with your program.
My guests are so creative and different, and they all woke up doing something.
Woke up is the word.
And as they shared it, because they want to stay on top of things, they need to give it away. We're here to give it all away. Whatever happened for them, they can share it. And so everyone's running around sharing lately. I mean, I think we are in this beautiful place
of awakening.
Oh my gosh. We're awake out there, in there, everywhere. Everybody's waking up.
Not everybody, but most people.
Well, there's such a lift in consciousness.
Well, exactly. Exactly.
And you know, those who are born now are going to be privy to the work that all of us are doing.
Totally.
Think of what we came in with, and the way things were, and how much we've seen. And I don't know. I know all of our positive thoughts and all the sharing that we do to lift consciousness higher. I mean, it's just getting higher all the time, and
it's cumulative.
It is, and it's not going to stop.
I see it in my grandchildren. I have 6 grandchildren. Each one of them is just a treasure of a new beginning. Well,
and they're getting different messages about being positive. I mean, I don't know if the schools have caught up yet, but
I think they have.
They're getting there.
I think they have.
Yeah.
And of course the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, for better or worse.
And when we were kids, even if we had church or whatever, it wasn't, have you meditated today, dear? I mean, there were certain things that were not part of the dialogue.
True.
So, and as I say, the pitfalls that a human being has to go through, the detours they have to take to finding joy and peace, it's a setup. In 2 minutes, it is a setup.
It's a long lesson.
It's, yes. But because we have it, we have that seed, we have the perfection, the Garden of Eden is right there. Everything's going to fall short until we find that place, because it won't work. I mean, you throw out your, what is it? You throw out a seed, and if it's a sour one, the only one that suffers is you.
Precisely.
You know.
Precisely.
So and that's the pitfall of our human nature, our competitiveness, our one-upping, our caring about things that are shallow and not joyful. But we do them because we're trying to learn. So as we go through them,
we're moving in the emotional and mental body from the dark heaviness, unconsciousness.
yes,
To
the density.
This the density.
The density.
And these dense emotions are not bad emotions, but
No.
grief, anger,
They're necessary.
fear, despair, all that starts to lighten
Yeah.
as you move up the spectrum.
And if you trust that going through them, sitting in your fear, sitting in your abandonment, sitting in all of that.
or befriending it.
Yes, that's right. Be comfortable with it. It's okay. You're not alone. We all do this.
There you are. When I
this is the
meditate.
human gig.
Exactly. When I meditate, a fearful thought comes in. I say, fear, my old friend, have a seat.
Don't you just hate that
I'm
when
sitting,
fear dares to bother you?
Sit down. I'm having a seat. Have a seat with me. Yeah.
Well, it's a teacher. Our projections are our teachers. What we see in someone else, if it's negative, it's really all about what we know about ourselves. When we finally catch on to those things, we have to shift anything we're looking at. And whether they're doing anything right or not, we have to do it. We have to see them that way anyway, because sooner than later, they will come to that place.
I'm so glad I met you.
Oh, you too. You too, Miss Pink. Oh,
Happy Valentine's Day.
happy Valentine's Day. And it's February 1st.
Yes.
And
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away, and we have to wind down. I have a feeling I'm hearing the footsteps that are going to give me the signal, but you'll have to come back. And as I
I'd like
recommended,
to,
when you're ready to
Penelope.
fly, thank you, when you're ready to
I'll
fly
call
with
you.
something where you cannot be held back, like a stallion ready for a race,
I'll call you.
you just call me and say, I have had an awakening, I've had a new chapter open up, I have a new awareness, and I'm so excited.
Thank you.
So, and that's why I'm sure, I just have this feeling, you've broken the ice now with the book.
Thank you.
So get going when you're ready. When
Thank
you're
you.
ready. And I'm ready to check out, and I want to thank my friends for joining us on Awaken the Dream. It's very special to have Carla here with me. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.